who am I? Who am I to the people? I have a kid now, like I said before. Honestly, it's just that fatherhood time. I haven't yet spent much more time with my son as I would want to. And he'll understand that as he gets older. If I can see, like, how can I change and how can I give my son more knowledge rather than luxury things, then I'm gonna do that. My father, though, is the one that really, he knows me best. He's seen me at my worst, he's seen me at my best, and he's gonna be the one that definitely is gonna tell me the things that I really need to focus on how can I beat this guy. I trust him with my life.
It's the first week. It's gonna break. The first minute hurts.
Before the noise ever starts, this fight begins well ahead of the bell, not inside the ring, and not under bright lights, but in the moments where belief is challenged and habits are fully exposed. Two fighters with two different rhythms moving toward the same night from completely opposite paths.
I want everyone to see that, my father didn't become trainer of the year just by luck. In 2020, we beat the most decorated fighter pound for pound during that time, Vasily Lomachenko. That was from him. He told me how the game plan had to go.
And he'll push him and he'll freaking just try dogging him. But he's trained for that. He's trained to keep on doing that every round. So when he spars,
make everybody tired.
So when he spars, I tell him, okay, you could box. Yeah. You could box, but what's gonna happen when you can't box no more? You get tired of it and you feel that guy's weight.
Yeah.
Punch your body, go on top, and then you go on top. Good, go, put that head, bro.
Concentrate.
You're doing things I can almost never do.
Lopez has always lived in that uneasy space where confidence pushes into defiance and belief is built through doubt. Rather than praise, he has never been someone who needs calm in order to perform at his best. Chaos is what brings him fully alive, and that is exactly why his preparation for Shakur Stevenson is so interesting.
A lot of the times, I didn't want to go into the gym. I didn't, especially when I had to swim. That was painful. But it was the training, the work ethics that you have to put in between the miles of running and the depths of how you have to sacrifice your whole body in this. A lot of people don't understand, even to this day, how much we have to really do, how much we beat up our body.
So when he comes here, you go to the body. When he comes here, go to the body. Esta! Oh, beautiful.
He can't touch it, champ. He can't touch it.
This time the noise has not changed him, it has sharpened his focus away from the spotlight. Teofimo training has centered on tightening areas of his game that do not depend on adrenaline, improving distance control, staying disciplined between bursts, and bringing structure to moments where he once relied on instinct.
You know who that is, right? You like really looking.
My father put me in with the top guys, professional fighters at like 12, 13 years old. And that was something that I really enjoyed the most because it was hard. I would cry, I would run away, I didn't like it. I would tell him this is not for me, I want to quit. And he would just, nope, no, you could do this. My father would flip it around sometimes and say, okay, you want to quit, we'll quit. And literally I would stop for maybe a day or two and bug him, be like, hey, I want to go back in the gym. So I believe we had this connection, obviously since birth,
The focus is not only on power or fast athletic moments, it is about patience, timing, and knowing that against someone like Shakur chances are limited. This camp clearly centers on responsibility, less attention to the crowd, and more honest self-talk. Every workout feels built around one clear question: can Teofimo stay sharp when the pace slows down?
Camp, you know, you gotta be serious and stuff. You know, yeah, that's to get focused on the fight, but gotta make it a fun camp. So, right now, I'm gonna blow my dad's ear.
About 13,000 years ago, there was a phenomenon in the study of ancient America. But it was wrong. The old notion had been completely overturned. Fossilized human footprints have been found in the New Mexican desert.
You know I don't feel good, bro. Why you do that to me, bro? And you film that too, man? You better erase that shit.
He understands that Shakur excels when rivals lose patience, so the focus now is on resisting that trap and applying pressure without rushing. This is not the Teofimo hunting single moments, this is a fighter learning to manage them, and that version is the most dangerous.
It's important to take breaks in between camps, you know, or even in camp. We're so focused at what's at task that we end up forgetting to have fun. You know, we have a long week of training. Let's reward ourselves for that week.
On the other side of that preparation stands Shakur Stevenson, a fighter who has never needed chaos to find himself, because discipline has always been where he feels most natural.
Today we're doing sparring breakfast. So we're gonna do a little mixed potato hash with some chicken, sausage, and some protein pancakes, and some ancient grain sourdough.
Ready.
Ready.
Too many, too slow.
Too slow. Get out the way. It's all that matters. It's all that matters. If I'm Zach, I'm gonna keep walking to you, man. He got a catch. It's only 3 rounds.
Get ready. We need to be pushed today. Bring the smoke, buddy. He doing great. Yep, that's right. July 12th, demolishing. We're gonna demolish. Guys way too slow, sports too sharp, too fast, too strong.
Where Teofimo sharpens himself by learning restraint, Shakur sharpens his edge by cutting away anything unnecessary. His preparation for this fight has been quiet, focused, and almost clinical, built on repetition, clarity, and smart decisions made while tired. This camp is not about changing who he is, it is about refinement. Every session is designed to strengthen what already makes him dangerous: control of distance, steady balance, precise timing, and the ability to stay mentally untouched no matter what unfolds around him.
There we go. Left 15, all the way down.
Tweaking a day.
Yeah, that's that prep. That's what you already been doing?
Yeah.
That got it.
Let me say that.
Good. That's good.
I feel great. Sprints kind of be getting me right, get my conditioning right. Sometimes in a fight could turn into a sprint.
Shakur trains like someone who expects challenges, not surprises. He prepares for the moments when Teofimo explodes, when the crowd reacts, and when momentum tries to shift, and the goal is staying centered through all of it. He does not rush rounds, chase reactions, or confuse movement with control. Everything is built on efficiency, taking away options and forcing errors without forcing exchanges. Shakur understands this fight will not be decided by emotion or volume, it will be decided in the quiet seconds between punches, where positioning beats power and patience beats impulses. Preparation shows that mindset clearly. He is not training to prove anything, he is training to execute.
Big fight coming up. I heard you was the one that wanted to fight, right?
Yeah. I actually set this fight up. And I honestly did it because I wanted to push myself. I know that Teo is a tremendous fighter. I know he's on an extremely high level. And I feel like, I know that I can beat him, but I know that this should be a tough session, so I'm ready.
Who were some of the other options you had?
Lamont Roach.
That would have been a real good fight, man. But I mean, Tio, he's a bigger name though, so I see why you went with him.
Yeah, bigger name, and also he got the more accolades. He's been undisputed before. He's on one belts at 35, one belts at 30, at 40. So he's more accomplished. So I know that would be a better name on my resume.
While Shakur focuses on silence and precision, Teofimo Lopez is revealing his mindset in a different way. He speaks like someone who truly believes ownership matters, and listening to the interview, it does not sound like he is trying to convince anyone. It sounds like he is reminding himself Teofimo is not selling bravado. He is defending what he believes is his when he says Shakur cannot take what he has bled for. That is not promotion talk, it is identity, and I like the self-awareness in his words. The video game references the Roy Jones Jr. discussion, and the study of past legends like Roy Jones Jr. and Henry Armstrong show this camp is not built on ego alone, it is built on curiosity. Teofimo understands that raw athletic ability will not be enough against Shakur Stevenson, so he is searching for layers, deception, timing off feints, and the details that never show in highlights but quietly decide rounds.
You know, I think at certain points in your career, right, you have to realize that you don't know everything, right? And sometimes you have those, like the likes of Roy Jones Jr., who was arguably the best fighter in the 90s, even the early 2000s. And for him to want to, help me in some sense, maybe there's something that I'm not possibly there yet with that he could possibly add to my arsenal, and I would love to see more. I would love to learn more. That's like some type of mentorship.
I like that he openly admits he does not know everything, because that shows growth, not weakness. When he talks about mindset, faith, and destiny, you can hear how deeply this fight connects to legacy for him. He is not trying to talk over Shakur, he is trying to believe stronger than him. Even his response to Shakur being called boring is smart. He does not brush it off, he accepts it, and says that is exactly why he is here to disrupt it. That sums up Teofimo perfectly. He does not avoid narratives, he attacks them directly. So while Shakur sharpens control in silence, Teo sharpens conviction in the noise, studying, adjusting, and reinforcing his belief that when the bell rings, preparation and belief together can take over. Whether you agree or not, one thing is clear: he sounds focused, not scattered, and that version of Teofimo Lopez heading into this fight is a dangerous one.
What's it like seeing him now kind of face to face? When you look at him, what do you see? Because obviously you're not locked in just yet, and the closer it gets to a fight, obviously things turn a little bit. But when you do look at Shakur, what do you think of him?
I think I don't think too much of it. I think that he believes in himself. That's one thing. But I'm here to destroy his dreams and all that he wants to do and become. You can't take this from me. I worked very hard for it. I've bled for this, and I'm not taking nothing from him, but I just believe that what's gonna happen next is for destiny in the boxing ring to decide.
Right after hearing Teofimo speak with that mix of conviction, reflection, and this is mine energy, the conversation shifts sharply when Shane Mosley steps in. It feels like a veteran tapping the chessboard, saying, let's be honest. When someone like Mosley calls this fight a true 5050, it's not sitting on the fence, it's respect for danger on both sides. I love how he frames it: not hype, not records, just one question: who imposes their will first? And that's the real tension. Shakur wants the fight quiet, measured, and controlled, like he's dimming the lights round by round. Teofimo can flip the switch, turning angle, speed, and power into pure disruption. Mosley reminding everyone that Teofimo can actually box when he wants. His crucial casual fans often forget this isn't a wild brawler relying on luck. This is a fighter who figured out Lomachenko in real time, which is no small feat.
I think you're going to need a couple of rounds, but the first round is going to be very interesting. Maybe you see some tails, but I think maybe 2 or 3 you're going to start seeing one leave the other. Because I don't think that, maybe, Shakur might show some different, if he has to go after Teofimo, he might show some different type of heart that we haven't seen, or different type of fighting we haven't seen. And vice versa, whereas Teofimo's hitting him with different shots off the angle, that is kind of giving, Shakur Stevenson trouble. We'll see about that.
And the talk about the weight jump, that's veteran thinking, not panic or assumptions. It's about seeing how speed reacts when the added weight comes into play. I also like how Shane doesn't rush to crown anyone early. He basically says the first couple rounds are reconnaissance, but by round 2 or 3, someone's fingerprints will be all over the fight. Either Shakur quietly starts pulling ahead with positioning and timing, or Teofimo begins landing those unusual angle shots that make you Question your whole strategy. The funniest part is how Mosley shrugs at predictions like, nah, I'm just watching. Because that's exactly how this fight feels. You don't break it down to feel smarter, you break it down to see how thin the margins really are. It's not about who looks better on paper, it's about who can force the other to fight a version of himself he's not used to. And when a Hall of Famer says he's grabbing popcorn instead of a scorecard, that's your cue. Buckle up, this one is going to show something real.
I think people overlook of Teofimo is he can box when he wants to. Like, he's shown he has a slick style too when he wants to do that.
When he wants to do that. So if you have a slick style and you got power and you got the speed too, and you're fighting at 140. So let's see. I don't know if Shakur Stevenson is going to get slower moving up in weight or not, where Teofimo can hit him. Maybe he was really fast at 130, 26-30. Maybe 35, but 40, you put on a little bit more weight. I think that he holds the weight probably really, really good, but you just don't know.
And right after Shane Mosley breaks it down like a veteran who's seen every kind of chaos a ring can throw at you, Wade Plemons steps in and shifts the perspective just enough to make you sit up straighter, because now it's not only about clashing styles, it's about timing, intent, and the sport finally getting something right. Listening to this, I think this is what boxing has been missing: two elite fighters in their prime, not waiting 5 years, not hiding behind excuses, actually signing the contract when it counts. Wade's excitement feels real. You can hear it in how he talks about this as a necessary fight, not just a good one. And he's right, this isn't about knockouts or viral moments, it's about level. Shakur isn't here to impress casual fans, he's here to control space-time and ego. Teofimo isn't here to survive rounds, he's here to prove his belief in himself is real. I love how Wade leans into the idea of delusion on both sides, because that's the truth. Most won't say great fighters have to believe they're unbeatable, even when logic says otherwise. Shakur sees Teofimo as delusional, Teofimo sees Shakur as untested, and that's why this works. When both believe they're the final answer, the ring doesn't lie, it reveals
that Teofimo's delusional. Shakur has that same delusion. It's what propels both of them to the highest degree. Now, here was them facing off a couple of months ago, I think, at this point, and this is what I was talking about. Shakur is in stature the bigger guy, which is crazy because he fights at the lower weight. He is a bit more skinny, obviously, but now he's coming up to 140, and it feels like Teofimo Lopez can't go much bigger than 140. Like, I've heard him talk about going to 147. That would be the highest I would think Teo should go, but here's their face-off.
Well, quick, Izzy, you should be in the middle. I know, I'm there.
Yeah.
There you go.
He going to
like, these dudes don't hate each other, and you don't necessarily have to. There are certain fights where that level of venom is needed, and it's...
What really makes Wade's breakdown hit is how grounded it feels despite all the hype. There's no pretending this is just a brawl, no hyped-up knockout promises. This is a high-skill problem-solving session with real consequences. I nod along when he calls it a chess match, because that's exactly what it is. But with egos attached, Shakur's approach is defensive offense, making opponents miss, embarrassing them quietly, and stacking rounds while they search for momentum. Teofimo's danger comes from the fact that he can box too, but he chooses when to unleash it, and when he's locked in, subtle mistakes become big moments fast. Wade pointing out that Teofimo has already been beaten while Shakur hasn't is key, but it's context, not a discount. It means Shakur has to answer questions Teofimo already faced and survive. Teofimo has to prove inconsistencies are behind him when it matters. I like how Wade frames this as boxing returning to its core, best versus best. No safety nets, no legacy padding. We're not watching to see who talks or sells better, we're watching to see who truly owns their style under pressure. This fight isn't comfortable, it's clarifying, and when analysts stop predicting and just say let's see, that's when you know something real is happening.
Realistically go between Shakur and Teo, because they're both very technical. Both guys understand the sweet science and fight very smart. No one takes a ton of risks. Teo does have a bit more pop in his shots and can put you down, but if you take the risk of making a massive mistake versus a guy like Shakur, then Shakur will outbox you, outclass you, and take you into deep water. So we'll see. Stylistically, we'll see how this thing goes, because I don't see a super over-aggressive Teofimo Lopez. I don't see that. I don't see Shakur getting too out of pocket with him either, but we will have, I think, a very, very high-skill, high-level boxing match.
I'll be honest. I'm going to be real honest. He was a lot better.
Coming right after Wade lays it out like a comm strategist. The energy shifts the moment Lonnie B jumps in, because now we're past theory, we're talking feel. You can hear it in his voice. This isn't analyst hype. It's I've been in the gym with these guys hype, and I love that perspective when someone who's worked pads with Teofimo and seen Shakur up close calls this an atomic bomb. You listen, Lonnie B isn't guessing, he's reacting to muscle memory. The way he describes Teofimo's explosiveness is both hilarious and terrifying. You think you know power until you're switching gloves mid-session wondering what just happened on the other side. He talks about Shakur like a problem that's almost unfair, so clean, So sharp that people barely realize what they're witnessing. That Roy Jones comparison lands perfectly, because that's how history treats fighters like him. When someone makes elite athletes look ordinary, fans ask, who has he really fought? Instead of recognizing something rare, Lonnie basically says Shakur's issue is that he's too good, and that's a wild problem to have.
And Shakur is phenomenal. I mean, he's just phenomenal, excellent boxer. Cat-like reflexes, sharpshooter, knows what he's doing in there. Great ring generalship. Know when to use his jab. I mean, Shakur he's so good that it might be to a default. And I'm gonna tell you why I say that. You got somebody like Roy Jones, who was so good that he ain't fighting nobody. These guys are number ones. And it's just that he's so good, he make these guys look like nobody. So they say, oh, well, he ain't fought nobody. How come he just can't be that good?
What really makes this breakdown stand out is how Lonnie frames the danger on both sides without favoring either fighter. He doesn't pretend Shakur is untouchable. He clearly says there are shots Shakur cannot afford against Teofimo. And that's not hate. That's reality. Teofimo isn't someone to test habits on one clean hit, and his confidence skyrockets, the traps come out, the rhythm shifts, and suddenly you're facing a completely different fighter. I also love the Floyd versus Roy analogy because it sums everything up in one line. Without disrespect, one bends the rules because he can, the other perfects them until they feel suffocating. That's why this fight feels so special. Lonnie B isn't selling a boring chess match or reckless brawl. He's showing jazz versus jazz, two masters improvising in different languages. If Shakur doesn't strip Teofimo's confidence early, things get dangerous fast. If Teofimo can't disrupt Shakur's calm, he's chasing shadows for 12 rounds. That's the tension, that's the beauty. This isn't about who looks better in highlights, it's about who can stay themselves when the other pushes them out of their comfort zone. And when someone who's seen both camps calls it a classic, that's not promotion talk, that's a warning.
Because Tio, he's one of those guys, once he feels once he touched some skin, that get him going, get him warmed up, like, okay. He gets more brave, like, okay. The wheels start going, oh, I can do this, I can do that, I can do this, I can do that. And you can see him putting the
when he's in the zone, it's almost impossible to stop it because he's tapping his back of his heel and he's setting up different traps, and his confidence is like the key factor of his fight, right?
There we go.
If his confidence is here, you can almost kiss the fight goodbye. So Shakur has to rip his confidence from the second the fight starts and keep it that way, because if not,
there we go. He got to keep that gas tank on.
When you put all of this together, it stops being about who talks louder and starts being about whose identity holds up under pressure. Teofimo Lopez is sharpening belief, adding structure to chaos, convincing himself that moments and ownership belong to him. Shakur Stevenson is refining control, trusting process over noise, and letting patience smother urgency. Then you have Shane Mosley reminding us this is about Will Wade Plemon, framing it as boxing finally being done the right way, and Lonnie B showing what these fighters really feel like in the gym. Different voices, same conclusion. This fight isn't safe, comfortable, or predictable. It's a clash of philosophies. Does disruption break discipline, or does discipline drain disruption? That's the real question. The ring will answer. No narratives, no excuses, just 12 rounds of truth, where styles aren't just clashing, they're being tested. This is a fight that doesn't just crown a winner, it shows who you really are when your best self is standing across from you. Drop your thoughts in the comments, let's really talk, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Boxing Alert.